this one has been having hardware cutouts, but
I know. I hope it lasts too. Well, hey, John, thank you so much for joining me today on this social meeting platform in Magic Leap One. We've been meaning to do this for, going on about a month and a half now. So thank you so much for, sharing your time here and obviously sharing your thoughts on, this new technology and where you see it going within your, specific applications, but also your vision and imaginative prowess. Tell me what you think about the Magic Leap One so far, John.
Oh, I mean, when it works, it's gorgeous. It's a dev platform, so I get it. And, to everyone who's mad, it's okay. It's going to get better. But certainly to experiment, I show it to all sorts of people, and everybody gets first they get just childlike with it. They just play. So they just play, and they play. And then they start being like, wow, you can do anything with this. Wow, you can do anything, So it's a pretty cool experience to be able to, I think I know I'm changing people's maybe day, maybe life, I don't know, by showing them just basic stuff. The fact of having holograms floating around. So just that is worth it to me, aside from all the things that I want to do with it. So yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Absolutely, man. I couldn't agree anymore. And I think that magical part of showing people this new technology, it really opens up the inner child in everyone, right?
Yeah. And it's funny, when you're using it, you don't really have time to critique it as much as you are just playing with it. So it's fun to just do it for real and not think. It's been a long time coming, I think, for me at least, of you can think about this platform all you want, but until you really are looking at you right now as an avatar floating in my room with depth and everything, and you're across wherever you are. I think you're Seattle, right?
I'm up in Seattle. That's correct.
Yeah, so I'm in San Diego, and we're doing a chat with the sort of depth. I'm standing up too, which is really important. I know you're an active guy as well. I see you pumping iron on the LinkedIn. I'm just so excited that I'm moving. I'm talking to you and I'm walking around my room. I'm doing things. I'm not sitting at a darn desk looking at a darn two-dimensional screen. It has really come time for this, what I think is a very humane form of computation. Whatever brand does it, we really deserve to be engaged together with the fuller capacity of what it means to be a person. If we're going to also use computers, that should be brought in. So, woo, moving around.
Absolutely, man. Well said. The spatial computing paradigm and everything that Roni and discussed with the magic verse and the future of interaction is really, to me, the most important part of this new platform is that, volumetric telepresence and communicating over vast distances, is going to disrupt so many industries. We've talked about, travel, and Dr. Grossman is also discussing telemedicine, and various other integrators that they are planning to utilize this technology for as it matures and continues to, in the future, probably change the way that they design some of these headsets. With maybe some streaming in home to take some of the computational power away from you so that heat generation isn't on or near your body. But also maybe some changes in the way they design the optic systems and also the electromagnetic AC orthogonal controller. I've had some issues trying to design applications inside metal enclosures. So hopefully they'll modify some of these things. But again, as you stated, as a first generation developer unit, you can't get any better. They've taken all the positive things from the HoloLens, and they've modified it. You have eye tracking, you have hand tracking, and now we're able to communicate over 3 or 4 states here in my. I call this my bat cave, John, but down in my bat cave, I have all these different pieces of emerging tech that obviously you've seen from my LinkedIn channel. I like to share my vision of the future as I attempt to educate, all these people around the world that are interested in this, from developers and users to enterprise, corporations, small and big business. I think it's very important to empowered people with knowledge and education. That's where, as you stated before, a few of our discussions on Twitter, that's where that wisdom comes from. And I hope they continue to build on this platform and modify, change, and enhance it. Obviously, Magic Leap, they listen to the developers probably more than anybody. And that, to me, as we saw at LeapCon, it kind of makes everybody feel special. And part of that Magic team, as it were, part of Leap Nation. We have our chats on Twitter that we talk all the time, and we share our ideas. But I think these kinds of interactions here, where you're just sitting here floating down in the den or my bat cave, and we could share any kind of idea in real time. Obviously, in the future, we're probably going to share files over this, right? So you'd be able to send me a file either with your hand or with a controller, and that would pop up in real time in front of me. But in the future, I was bringing up an idea about using maybe an iPhone or an infrared flood emitter to spatially map your face so you could put your real face on your avatar. I thought that might be.
Yeah, it is funny. These avatars are randomized. I've got the beard guy, beard guy, the beautiful beard guy. I'm calling they right here that I am.
It fits you though, man. You're the surfer intellectual scientist.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's wild that to consider all the different aspects that specifically the Magic Leap, because this is the only, you've got all the tech, but I have only the Magic Leap. I have been waiting for the day when something this robust would come out. And I've been sort of tracking the Magic Leap for a while, but I have very specific and general explorations to do with this. I needed the eye tracking, the controller that goes all the way around the head, like you're saying in metal enclosures and stuff. Yeah, it's not that accurate, but just the concept of it, I needed all these things to do a few aspects. And one of them is, as you were saying with sharing files, I've watched people share intention, love, peace, compassion through YouTube. They call it ASMR, and a lot of people find the odd ones. But I've also found this surreal channel of ASMR people who are doing ancient Reiki practices and these different kinds of things, which are not only soothing, but also really kind of enlightening in a lot of ways. And that's what inspired me to be able to take this platform and say, can I take this depth? This is a 4-dimensional display. We now have, I'm seeing you in 3-dimension, 4-dimension with the motion. We've never had that before. So, wow, if we can share presence with each other through YouTube videos, which it's happening. It doesn't work for everyone, but it's happening. What could we do with this? And so I pitched to Magic Leap a grant for a software that I'm calling Hollow Healing.
I saw
which
that.
Is
That's
one of
fantastic,
experiments. Man. It's so wild. Honestly, I can't wait to get this to people, because seeing the Merkaba, this ancient symbol that has been with us forever, seeing these other symbols right there in your space. I turned it up to 303,000 revolutions a minute in Unity and loaded it up, and I looked at this thing, and it was absolutely mind-blowing. It was like looking at God in the face, and I had no words. My heartbeat was very different. I've never experienced a feeling quite like this. And there was something so real, so tangible about this holographic, ethereal kind of presentation, but with these forms, that it created this sensation that I think we can harness. It was at that moment too that it really proved okay, I think there's something here. I think this technology is robust enough to where we can start to do what a lot of people have called holographic healing. If you go search for that, you'll see all these different light activations, and there's all these terms and symbols that are being thrown around. And with this particular technology, we have the first of its kind way to do this kind of shared geometric play outside of sculpture and outside of the imagination. We have this base of display between each other, and I've got some people pretty excited about working on this with me, and they've got real technical. They're like, wait, I need to know exactly how many millimeters I can place an object, and is the the tessellation going to have the correct, ask me? I'm like, whoa, yeah. There's people waiting.
Well, you got to start. You got to start somewhere. But I think you're onto something there, John. Is that all this technology that we have in this world right now? I think one of the biggest ones that I hate, I cannot stand, is the cell phone. This. It's unbelievable that we're still using this in the way that we are. It has completely destroyed the social fabric of the world. I mean, look at the United States right now. It's just unbelievably divided. And I think this has a lot to do with it. I think these companies, these huge companies, Google, Microsoft, and various others, and Apple, that have created these ecosystems and platforms, have a duty to now kind of break those barriers down, because everyone has their head down all day, John. No one communicates. If you walk into a Starbucks, you walk into an airport, no one talks, no one shares stories, which was, kind of led to the evolution of the human species. That's how we evolved, right? Somebody would pass down a story. That's how it would either save your life, or you would know that a certain fruit or animal or vegetable was okay to eat or not to eat. And that's what you were supposed to do. Now everyone just goes online, and it's unbelievably disconnected. And the human race needs to come back to this form of communication, because, like you said, it's going to bridge the gap and bring us to another place. I mean, I love what you're doing and holographic healing. I've been following you for a while, man. I hope you get that grant. If not, I'll definitely send some messages over to Magic Leap and ensure that you get some the exposure that you deserve, man, because these kinds of things can help millions of people around the world, especially in the United States right now. There's so many people suffering, and you have a very unique concept, and your attitude is wonderful, man. I applaud you, brother.
Thank you. No, I mean, Tony, you're absolutely right. I'm really glad you bring up, we have to touch on the dark too while we're being positive, because we have got ourselves into a certain situation with the technology as it is. But I think we can keep going through it. And as you're saying, we come to, now you and I are talking to each other across the distance. So we have the aspect of the internet and the mobile communications, and yet you're embodied. And so the way I'm talking to you, I'm going to walk around you and I'm looking at you, and there's a presence to you. You have a reality. And so to bring that back and bring back the depth in the experience, both literally and metaphorically, I think that also a lot of the strife we see in our world is going to give way when we can have a more heartfelt technology and an approach to one another. Like someone has said to me, as I've learned about heart maths techniques and things, that the most important journey we can make is the 12-inch journey from our brain to our heart. So the